Hello, my name is Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of May 21st, 2015, and one e-meesh or crocodile in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar with the sun moving into Gemini and the Sagittarius full moon. May 21st is one e-meesh or crocodile. It carries the themes of beginnings, Mother Earth, protection and trust, nurturing, primordial energy, new opportunities and information, instincts, primal creativity, water lily, abundance, the essence of nature, beauty, receptivity, and growth. Much like other indigenous people who believed the earth was carried on the back of a turtle, the Maya believed that our planet was carried on the back of a crocodile who would nurture and protect all life forms. They believed that that from this primal force, humans receive messages and feelings about our connection to Mother Earth. So this 13-day period would be an excellent time to spend in nature, listening to the subtle messages from Gaia. With one crocodile, we begin a 260-day Tzolkin round, which will end on 13 Ahau on February 4th of 2016. The beginning of one crocodile, which is about unity through nurturing new beginnings, is also the beginning of the new Tzolkin round. And I thought I would talk about the Tzolkin calendar, which Ian Lungold referred to as the personal calendar of the Maya. Tzolkin is a 260-day calendar made up of 13 galactic tones numbered from 1 to 13 and 20 sacred sun signs. The combination of these two intentions were so important to the Maya that their day sign was their first name because it set their life's intention. For instance, my day sign is 13 e-meesh or crocodile, which is about moving to the next level through nurturing new beginnings. So that's what I'm here to do. I ascend in consciousness through nurturing others to have new experiences. And if you're interested, Mayan Magics is a great resource for all things Tzolkin, including my favorite, the Mayan calendar and conversion codex that Ian Lungold created, which I use quite a bit for to calculate people's Mayan day signs when I do those types of readings. So the diagram here shows the 20 sacred sun signs. Each sign is colored to show its representation to the 4 directions and the 4 elements. And we begin right up here at the top. This is crocodile, which is represented is red, representing the east, fire and birthing. And then next we have wind in white, which is connected to the north, air, and the mind. And then we have night in blue, representing west, water, and endings. And then seed is in yellow, aligned with south, earth, and the body. And as we move around the wheel, you'll notice that the pattern stays consistent: red, white, blue, yellow, red, and so on. And I find it interesting that each trisena ends with the same color and direction that it starts with. So the groupings of 13 follow the same pattern. So we have one crocodile in red, and then followed by one jaguar in white, followed by one deer in blue, and then followed by one sun up here in yellow. And then and if you follow your personal Tzolkin, what you'll find is every 65 days we experience burner days relative to our day sign. For instance, I am 13 crocodile, so I experience a more intense growth opportunities usually for the 5 days leading up to and including 13 crocodile, 13 chemi or transformation, 13 monkey, and 13 wisdom. So excuse me, which likewise, again, we're following the same pattern of going red, white, blue, and then yellow. Um, uh, and the colored halos around each day sign and the squares connecting them are to demonstrate the 5 burner sets. And if you do have a conversion codex, once you know which is your day sign, for instance, I've got Crocodile, and then we've got Transformation, and then we've got Monkey, and then we've got Wisdom all along the top row. Whichever sign you have, your burner days are going to be the same number as your day sign, with and then the glyphs that are on the same row within the conversion codex. I did have a question a while ago about the Tzolkin. And the question was, did I feel that the influences of the first sign of the Trecena, for which the 13-day period is named, is felt as strongly later in the cycle as we do in the first half of the Trecena, or is the influence adjusted by the precession of the internal signs? And I think that both are really true. The influence of Crocodile is the overall energy of this Trecena, but it's like hearing a hum when you first walk into a room. We no longer hear that hum as our ears become more adjusted to hearing the changing sounds and filter out perhaps that humming noise. But I think if you listen real closely on May 30th, you're still going to be able to feel the influence of the Crocodile along with hearing the dog's melodic howl. But that's just my opinion, and I just wanted to share that to answer that question. Since we're beginning a new Gregorian month, we're going to look at some of the aspects of the metaphysics for June. June is the 6th month, and then with the digits of 2015, when we add them together, we get 14. And when we add the 1 and the 4, that tells us that we're in a 14-5 month in numerology. Basic numerology reduces numbers to 1 through 9. So when we think about that arc, the 5 represents a major shift. Or breakthrough, as 5 represents the peak of the numerological cycle. If you can imagine it like a bell curve, we start with 1, then we have 2, 3, 4, and then 5 at the peak of the curve, and then we start down the backside with 6, 7, 8, and 9, where we're going to begin a new cycle after 9. The 5 is like the top of the mountain, and having the view of the upcoming descent of the other side of the 9-month cycle. And we've got Mercury turning direct on the 11th, which supports the implementation of a new direction based on information and experiences that we're exposed to in May. The 5-month brings new opportunities, options, and choices through our creativity. The 14-5 combination is represented by the Art Temperance and the Hierophant tarot cards, which are about integration of opposites to discover the ground which transcends them both, which we bring forth as teachers who learn from what we share and the experiences of those who honor us by implementing our guidance in their lives. Ken Wilber said in No Boundaries, provides a nice description. This quote provides a nice description of the Art Temperance archetype. He said, "The point is to unify and harmonize both positive and negative by discovering the ground that transcends them both." And from A Course in Miracles comes this quote, for the Hierophant. As you teach, so will you learn. And if this is true, and it's true indeed, don't forget that what you teach is teaching you. So June represents a breakthrough on many levels, including integrating opposites and learning through teaching. Um, Before we get into the daily energy for the one e-meesh or crocodile Trecena on the 21st, all the planets are appearing to be moving forward from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exception of Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto, which appear to be moving retrograde or in reverse motion. So remember, the themes of retrograde planets are about a review of the past, reevaluate, reminisce, and we can see these themes being played out. Mercury is retrograde in Gemini until June 11th. So this would be a good time to avoid signing contracts or other legal papers, making major purchases, or even taking a new job. If you can postpone these types of activities, the terms will be much clearer after Mercury is moving direct. Now that may seem impossible, but so you can also so if you can avoid these types of activities a few days before and after Mercury is changing direction on June 11th, when the energy is the most potent, that would also be beneficial. Mercury retrogrades force us to slow down and pay attention to our lives, making us focus on the details of our daily experience. And when we look at the retrograde cycle of any of the inner or personal planets, it provides information about a correction to our present course. And then Saturn retrograde reviews our commitments, plans, what we do for work, the structures of our lives. This one's a little more complicated in most because Saturn begins its apparent reverse movement in Sagittarius, but then later it backs into the final degrees of Scorpio. Saturn retrograde is a real taskmaster that demands that we take responsibility to review our beliefs well in Sagittarius and our ethics well in Scorpio. And then we've also got Pluto, the planet of death and transformation through a rebirth cycle. When it's retrograde, it's about reviewing the past, releasing anything from the past that's a burden to our new path. Pluto in Capricorn is determined in exposing the darkness and destroying the old order so that we can rise up from a phoenix and soar again. Capricorn is about large structures, including banks, governments, corporations, and religions. Pluto in Capricorn will be there until 2023, where it's destroying and regenerating the structures that are the foundation of our societies, represented by Capricorn. This is a time of a cosmic course correction for the entire planet. We cannot continue to harm Mother Earth for the economic gain of a few. And it's this resistance to Pluto's lessons of letting go of the past that really do bring tragedy and pain. So let's look at the daily vibrational energy for this Trecena. May 21st is one e-meesh or crocodile, unity experienced through nurturing new beginnings in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And on the 21st, we've got the sun entering into Gemini, which illuminates communication, along with Mercury moving through the sign, and also Mars is in the sign. So the emphasis really is on communication, and this is the sign of the twins. The energy is very fast. It highlights intelligence and adaptability as information flows at an increased rate. And also on the 21st, we have Venus in opposition to Pluto. So from our perspective here on the Earth, that's a 180-degree angle, which intensifies relationships. And when Venus dances with Pluto, it's not uncommon to hear from past lovers or pine for someone from our past. And usually it's best to leave old partners where they are. But some will not be able to resist digging up the dead to be sure of the relationship's demise. Overall, this intensifies experiences in our love lives. People will seek emotional experiences uh, that transform them out of the ordinary, which could then lead to indiscretions that lead to problems later on. A new relationship begun under this transit may have a compulsive nature to it. Watch out for people wanting to exert power over others through manipulating jealousy, guilt, or other negative emotions. Some will feel irresistibly attracted to someone who's not good for them. Relationships may struggle due to hidden resentment and tension rising up to the surface, such as being conscious of of that. Just being conscious of that and choosing your words carefully so that they're not interpreted as destructive can provide an opportunity for growth in partnership. I'm not going to be covering the daily lunar activity in these reports other than new and full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth daily Facebook posts and also on the blogger New World Birth blog, so that in both those places you can get all the information about the daily lunar transits. The 22nd is 2 or wind, which is duality experienced through communication. And at this point, we have the sun in opposition to Saturn. So from our perspective here on Earth, again, opposition is a 180-degree angle. Sun opposing Saturn makes us conscious of limitations in our lives that have been imposed by others or by circumstances. Again, just knowing this energy is affecting us is helpful. Also knowing that it only really lasts a day. This may also be a difficult day for communication. So just don't let it drag you down or overwhelm you. This is a day that's about trying to find balance between our needs and our obligations. People may not feel effective psychologically, which will make communications more difficult as folks feel a conflict between the needs of others and self-expression. So it's important to find a balance between your needs and your obligations. Neither is meant to win over the other. If our obligations win over self-expression, we will feel restless and unfulfilled. But if we ignore our duties and only choose what we want to do in our self-expression, we're going to experience the conflict with others. So compromise is really the best avenue for the 22nd. This can also affect us psychologically with feelings of isolation and loneliness under the influence of Saturn. May 23rd is 3 Akbal, or night, taking action through contemplating the stars in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. The 24th is 4 Khan, or seed, or lizard, stability through planting seeds and making new connections. The May 25th is 5 Chichan, or serpent, empowerment through being flexible. And at this point, we've got Venus in a square to Uranus. So from our perspective here on Earth, this is a 90-degree angle. It has folks seeking excitement in their love relationships. This can include picking fights to experience a different aspect of interacting. So at the end of the May is kind of intense, as we have the planet of love, but also money. It's in Cancer, being challenged by the winds of change. Uranus in Aries, and because Uranus is involved, this is unpredictable. Themes of this energetic might be an unexpected stock market drop, or a change in spending due to scarcity, or a currency change in the oil markets, where the dollar has been the preferred measurement of value. So on a personal level, folks are looking for something exciting out of the ordinary. So if your relationship has become dull or predictable, this is a time to inject it with a new experience rather than have it erupt into a fight about how we never do anything interesting. Basically, the less flexible less flexibility in the relationship during this transit, the more damaging this alignment is likely to be. Also, on the 25th, we can expect intellectual conflicts where folks are trying to convince others of their personal truth, with Mars over here squaring to Neptune. So from our perspective here on the Earth, we're looking at again another 90-degree angle. Mars squaring Neptune can be can bring difficulty because it brings out a sense of doubt and discouragement. It also brings energy for confrontations where people feel inadequate and try to avoid challenges that they hoped would just go away. People also question what they're doing with their lives. Recognize that this is just going to last for a few days, and so it's best not to get lost in any hopeless feelings. Neptune also can diminish our energy and decrease our self-consciousness, which is represented by Mars. On the 26th, we have 6 Kimi, or transformation, being in the flow through releasing what no longer serves us. And we've got Venus in trine to Chiron, which helps us release old wounds and heal disagreements, particularly related to relationships. The 27th is 7 Manik, or deer, reflection through being of service to others. And at this point, we have Mercury is retrograded far enough back that it is now conjunct to Mars. So from our perspective here on Earth, they're at the same degree of Gemini, which should be handled with care because folks are more argumentative and take their egos too seriously for a few days. There could be information that activates circumstances that where we need to take action. And with Mercury retrograde, past conversations and thoughts are more likely to trigger anger that rises up from the shadows. The 28th is 8 Lamont, or star, or rabbit, or Venus in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. This is about balance through being grateful for abundant relationships. The 29th is 9 Maluk, or offering, patience experience through appreciating all of creation. And at this point, we have the second Mercury square Neptune. So from our perspective here on Earth, again, another 90-degree angle. Because of the retrograde cycle, where we have 3 of these squares in a row. Once when it's direct heading into the retrograde, once while it's retrograde, and then once it's direct after the retrograde, it will square to Neptune again. This brings considerable confusion to communications and thinking. This will be a time of carefully choose words to avoid being misunderstood. In order to avoid confrontations, folks will be more likely to keep secrets and hold controversial information. This is not recommended, as it will add to the confusion. This is a day to be careful in business dealings, as people may misrepresent what they have to offer. Overall, we should strive to keep thinking and communications clear, factual, and rooted in reality. Otherwise, we're likely to lead to unpleasant experiences. This is positive for studying anything religious, spiritual, or mystical. Just don't get lost when you go down the rabbit hole. And then on the 30th, we have 10 Ak, or dog, manifestation through enjoying family and friends. And at this point, from our perspective here on Earth, Mercury, retrograde Mercury, is conjunct the Sun. again in Gemini, which I like to think about being that like prior to uh, um, uh, you know, this Mercury gets way out in front of the sun, and then it retrogrades back and conjuncts the sun, and then it falls behind the sun. So prior to mechanized warfare, generals would send their cavalry ahead of the infantry to scout out the enemy's location and find possible resources, as well as survey the lay of the terrain to move troops with maximum efficiency and safety and to their strategic advantage. And I like to think about Mercury stretching out of the sun, out in front of the sun, as gathering information to report back to our consciousness during its conjunction to the sun. And I'm going to be using these two markers to kind of demonstrate this. They're connected with a rubber band just to show the tension as they stretch out. So I'm hoping to illustrate this pattern. Mercury is going to be represented by the black marker, and then the sun is going to be represented by the red marker. And as we can see, as it starts to move forward and stretch out in front of the sun, this creates tension where it becomes easy to be overwhelmed and increases by the increase of new information that seems to have no place to be deposited. And then as Mercury retrogrades, the tension decreases as it eventually merges with the sun, which occurs on May 30th, and it finds a destination for the intelligence that is gathered. And then once it's moving behind the sun, um, Mercury feels as though it's creating a drag as it retards the possibility of implementing the new data until it regains its forward motion in its pursuit of the sun on June 11th. And then May 31st is 11 Shuin or monkey resolution through creating something new. And at this point, the sun is also in a square to Neptune. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 90-degree angle between the sun and Neptune, which brings a low energy day, which seems to take more energy to complete normal tasks. If possible, it would be a day to have a lighter schedule and more time to rest. Some will feel a little beaten down by this transit, so it's not a good day to do work that requires courage or a great deal of confidence. Just don't get discouraged. This energy only lasts for a day. June 1st is 12 ebb or road understanding through serving your community. And then the second is 13 bend or reed or corn movement to the next stage through maintaining the home in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. So no matter what the energies that are affecting you during the one crocodile trisena, just take some time to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature or watching a sunrise or a sunset or communing with the stars or being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just being truly conscious when we're with somebody you love. Every day we have is a blessing, no matter what the dramas that beckon to distract us. We're all here just giving the performance of a lifetime on this world stage. Just take some time to observe the play as well as act your part. Remember that you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. And I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of the care and feeding of a New World Age will be on June 3rd for one e-meesh or Jaguar, with the Venus moving into Leo, Mercury turning direct, Neptune turning retrograde, and retrograde Saturn backing into Scorpio. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and the Mayan Magics website. I also encourage you to share this information as videos or as text as widely as you choose. And as always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading. I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. If you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I would love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA, or we can connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available, and we are definitely at a point where we are really struggling and could use your support. I am grateful that we have received some support from people in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, and Denmark. And so thank you to all of those folks. But we really are in a place where we could use some more support in order to keep these offerings available. As always, I'm blessed that you've taken the time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and I really am very, very grateful to every one of you who are supporting us, even in watching these videos or clicking like on this or a Facebook post or anything. So anyway, hope to connect with you in a reading, or email me with a question, or just in a future video. Anyway, all my best to every one of you. Thank you.